right, well, thank you, Dwayne, and thank you all for being here. What an exciting time to be in information technology, IT these days, and high tech in general. It seems like every time I go to a conference, people always say that. What an exciting time it is. So what's the big thing we're excited about? Well, as Dan was saying earlier, it's about digital transformation. But what is digital transformation? Well, what are we transforming to? Well, fundamentally, we're transforming into becoming digital businesses. And digital business and digital transformation is obviously a very huge trend these days. So what does it mean to be a digital business? Well, it really means that you're connecting with customers differently. You're getting a lot more connected and rich experience with customers, and you're doing it through digital means. And you're doing it through things like mobile or edge or IoT to connect directly with customers. And you're backing up that connectivity with cloud-based software services. So you have like a SaaS application running behind it that's providing a very rich experience for customers. And through that, you're collecting data. You're collecting data about your customers, you're collecting data about what they're doing, where they're doing it, when they're doing it, and all kinds of other sorts of data, what's happening out in the world. And you're taking that data and using things like machine learning to create great insights out of that data. And with those insights, you can start figuring out how to deliver even better experience from your customers and identifying new ways to monetize it. So clearly, this is a huge trend in the way things are happening. And we think about this, there are some businesses that are really, I think of as are born digital. And we think about things like ride sharing and how that's disrupting taxi industries and rental cars, or of course online shopping and how that's disrupted brick and mortar. But really, if you think about it, this digital transformation is happening in so many different ways. I flew here out of town, I flew here on an airplane, of course, and airlines are, we think of as being in the business of selling airplane seats. But while I was getting here, they're also saying, hey, we're going to provide you in-flight entertainment, we have frequent flyer programs and so forth. Well, what are those? Those are digital services. Those are services that they're delivering along with it. So they're transforming their business from not just being an airline, but also being a digital business as well. And in fact, actually, I've even seen like a soccer ball that was a digital soccer ball, if you will. It's actually a soccer ball, but it had a Wi-Fi built in, and so every time you kick it, you can log onto the app and see where you're actually kicking well and give feedback on how to improve kicking. So basically, you can transform absolutely anything into a digital business. And you can see here, 50% of enterprises are seeing that in the future, they're going to have to digitally enhance their products. So it's not just good enough to be able to just deliver a physical widget anymore. You have to deliver a digital experience around it. And you can see this digital disruption is expecting that 80% are recognizing, 80% of enterprises and businesses are recognizing that this is going to happen to them. So really have this opportunity to either be the one that is doing the disrupting or the one to be disrupted. Obviously, the faster you move, the better off you're going to be. Now, with this change in digital business, applications and data are also fundamentally changing as well. So applications, so in the past, we think of applications, businesses, enterprises will go and purchase off-the-shelf applications to run internal business processes. And that's kind of how you do things, and it makes things more efficient, and so you really kind of focus on cost. But with these new digital businesses, they're delivering custom applications that are designed specifically to help connect with their customers. And so this is really how you guys connect with customers directly. And so you want to make a custom experience because this is the product that you're delivering. It's through your own software. And so in this case, the sooner you can get your software and new features to market, the better. So basically, time to market is king. So speed is king, velocity is king. Because the faster you can get things to market, the faster you can start making money. And so this drives a whole set of other technologies around it as well. So these applications are usually delivered as services, so they're SaaS-based services or software as a service. They're developed more and more using what's called cloud-native applications or 12-factor applications. So they're very modular, so they're designed so they can be able to expand and shrink rapidly. And this, in turn, lends itself to another emerging trend called containers. And containers are a fabulous new technology that people are wanting to use more and more as well. But it's not just the technology of apps that's changing, it's the way that people are developing them changing as well. So process changes like DevOps and using CI/CD tools or continuous integration, continuous development. So these are all really changing the way applications are being developed. And then data is also fundamentally transforming as well. So in the past, we'd construct the perfect database using the absolute minimum amount of storage possible to get just the right number of rows and columns. But that's not true anymore. Now, data is king. The more data you have, the better, because the more data you have, the more insights you can get. So in effect, the one with most data wins. So now, the data that used to be thrown away is actually captured and maintained as some of the most valuable assets that a business can have. But in order to do that, the data format is different. That's all unstructured data now. There's huge amounts of unstructured that businesses are collecting, and with that unstructured data, you can turn around and do fabulous and incredible analytics with that using things like machine learning, and be able to construct new business insights out of that data, and then monetize that data even and do something more with it. And so ultimately, then this transforms into a kind of more engaging customer experience, which is core to the digital business. Now, why am I talking about all this applications and data and changes from that? Well, because that fundamentally also changes the way that people want to consume technology, in particular, and businesses want to consume technology. So as businesses start thinking about becoming digital, they look at the technology different. So I want to be able to consume that technology, the infrastructure, as I need it, when I need it, how I need it. And so that really lends itself to a kind of a cloud-like model for cloud technologies to be able to say, I want to consume what I want and when I want it. But it also changes the way that you want to pay for that technology. So rather than pay for it all up front, you want to just pay for what you need when you need it, so that way you can have your business use what you need when you need it. And that kind of makes sense. Now, there's been a lot of different approaches to solving these needs. We have public clouds, we have private clouds, and we have hosted private clouds out there. And of course, all these things are out there for real reasons. But then you look and say, well, okay, with this hybrid world, what's the best place to put my apps? What's the best place to put my data? And what's the right mix? Well, this is, in order to answer this question, you really have to look at the applications and the data themselves to understand. Because there are very specific reasons why you might put something in one place or another. It could be technical reasons, or legal or regulatory reasons, or even business reasons why you put something in one place or another. So for instance, if you have an application that has very strict latency requirements, or maybe they have strong dependence on what the infrastructure needs to deliver from a resilience standpoint, that might drive you to an on-premise deployment. On the other hand, if you have an application that needs to be able to grow and shrink very dramatically, and you're not sure how much it needs to grow and shrink, and it needs to be deployed worldwide, that might drive you to a public cloud deployment. Certain regulatory environments may dictate certain security requirements or data sovereignty requirements in terms of where data needs to reside, and that can drive you to specific deployments. Or different business models. Now we always think about like, hey, if I can pay as I go, that's a pretty low risk solution, because if I deploy an application, I'm not sure how many customers I'm going to have, how much demand I'm going to have. So if I have more than I think, I can always grow more with the pay as I go. And if I have not as much as I anticipated, I'm not overbuying in advance, which makes a lot of sense. But that's not always the case. So for instance, let's say a customer support application. Okay, so if I put a customer support application in a pay-as-I-go model, and I'm running along just fine, and then one day the CFO of the company comes and says to you, hey, we need to cut costs 25%. Well, simply stop supporting 25% of my customers doesn't seem like a good solution. So the problem is you're a little stuck. So in this case, actually, the pay-as-you-go model might actually be riskier than CapEx model, where you could have said, well, I'll just pay for it, I'll just keep on using it, and I'll defer a new project or defer some refresh later. So you can see there's this host of reasons why you're going to put things one place or another. And so the bottom line is, when we look at it and say, is there like this perfect trend towards all public, or perfect trends toward all private clouds, or perfect trends towards traditional IT? The answer is no. It's all of it. It's always going to be all of it. This is like a lot of different things. So the world is going to be hybrid, and it'll continue to be hybrid. And so then if the world is hybrid, then this starts, customers and businesses are saying, well, how am I going to deal with this? And we're, talk to a lot of customers ourselves as well. And the things that we hear more and more is, wow, all these different clouds are creating silos. So I got silos of different public clouds and private clouds, and now I'm struggling with how do I connect it all together? What's the best place to deploy applications? What if I want to move an application later in the future? How do I do it? How do I manage across a hybrid estate? And so these are the questions that we're hearing more and more from customers, and this desire by more customers to interconnect these different environments together. So Hewlett Packard Enterprise, we've been giving this a lot of thought, and we've got some ideas on how to address this. So fundamentally, our main theme really is about delivering more apps and less ops. So in other words, basically allow you to spend more time developing or deploying new applications and less time on the operations and maintenance of the infrastructure needed to run those apps. Now we have two basic fundamental strategies that we're using to go after this. First is what we call basically simplifying the on-premise infrastructure, the stuff that you have in your own data center. And the second big strategy is simplifying the multi-cloud management, whether those clouds are public or on-prem, doesn't matter, on or off-prem. And so I'm going to talk just real briefly about how we approach these two things. So within the data center, simplifying everything, what does this mean? Well, we start at the beginning. So when you first install something, new equipment in the data center, we want to simplify that. More importantly, we want to simplify and accelerate the deployment and provisioning of infrastructure and applications so you can run at the speed of business. We think it's also important to simplify the lifecycle management of the infrastructure and everything running there. So this is everything from provisioning to patching to updating to migrations to working around failures, capacity adds, and so forth. Next, we also want to simplify automation. We think that the future of the data center is going to be much more automated than it is today. We think it has to be. And so in order to do that, you need to have a very rich platform for automating, so a strong API to do that with. So that's the next strategy. And finally, we think that you have to have flexible ways in terms of how you consume that IT. So whether it's CapEx up front or OpEx or flexible capacity, flexible model in terms of pay as you go, like what we have with our flexible capacity services with HPE. So the bottom line is there's no one right answer for every single application on that. But we think that simplifying all these things is good. Now the second big strategy is simplifying multi-cloud management. And so first off, what does multi-cloud mean? Well, it means everything. It means your public clouds, private clouds, hosted private clouds, all those things. And so what does the simplifying of those things mean? Well, it's everything from if you're developing new applications, simplifying understanding how to develop an application that run in any of those environments. Second thing, simplifying the ongoing management and maintenance operations of all your apps across all those different cloud environments. Third, simplifying the way that you understand what you're actually doing in all those things, how much it's costing, how do you get the most efficient use out of the cloud resource you have, whether they're on or off-prem. And finally, simplify automation again here too, because even the multi-cloud environment needs to be automated also. And so we have, as part of this, a rich API for this as well. Okay, so now within these two core strategies, we have some core technologies and products that we're doing to really kind of drive this. First one on the left side, HPE OneView. So HPE OneView is our kind of premier infrastructure management software, and it has been very popular. In fact, actually, we've got over 800,000 copies, over 800,000 licenses sold of HPE OneView. So we're going to hit 1 million of these in the not too far future. So it's been very popular. And fundamentally, what OneView does is it gives you a software-defined mechanism to control infrastructure using templates that allow you to basically decide how you want your infrastructure to be configured, how you want it updated, modified, changed, and it'll roll it out automatically, and then also do compliance checking to make sure it's actually doing what you expect. And then we wrap around these kind of software controls, the software-defined controls, a rich API, and built on the top of that, a rich ecosystem of integration. So whether it's language bindings because you want to code directly, or IT automation tools, or orchestration tools, or configuration management tools, or IT management tools, or even cloud environments, we take all those things and integrate them directly with the API that's built into OneView, so you can automate all kinds of operations across the entire data center. Now, second, HPE SimpliVity. So SimpliVity, this is our hyper-converged platform, and this is really about simplifying virtual machine environments, simplifying the deployment of virtual machines and the ongoing operations of virtual machines through a simple to use, easy to consume product to do this. And the third one is HPE Synergy. So we announced Synergy in the early this year. And this is really the first composable infrastructure designed for both traditional environments, so think kind of traditional workloads, VMware environments and things like that, as well as cloud environments for kind of private cloud environments, things, infrastructure or containers in containerized environments. And do this for bare metal applications, virtual machine applications, and container applications. So really designed for a very wide range of stuff, but designed to simplify all those lifecycle management operations for all those different kinds of environments, get to a very highly automated environment as well. So very exciting kind of technology there too. And then on the multi-cloud management side, we're also doing work to simplify that as well with a brand new product that we have coming out that we temporarily is calling Project New Hybrid IT Stack. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. This is some really exciting technology that we have under development right now. Okay, so I want to drill in on the SimpliVity platform a little bit first. So this is our hyper-converged platform. This is our hyper-converged offering. And hyper-convergence is more than just bringing together servers and storage into one place. It's really about providing some very rich data services around that. So we have things like compression and deduplication and replication of data, which is so necessary in today's world. So being able to replicate data across different places, whether it's edge to core to cloud, these are going to be very critical things for anybody who's trying to live in this hybrid world. And because we have all these rich data services, it replaces the need for a lot of discrete individual appliances that you might otherwise need to purchase. So you wind up getting that simplicity, and that, as a result of that, because you're not buying as much stuff that you have to deal with. But we also simplify the management of this by making the management of this entire environment plug into the exact same environment that virtual machine administrators are already using and very comfortable with. So instead of just using that environment to manage the virtual machines, they can also use the same environment to also manage the data services that they run along with those virtual machines. So it gives you a very simple way to do this. And not surprisingly, when you combine all these things together, we're going to deliver a more superior total cost of ownership, lower TCO compared to the traditional IT stuff, but also lower TCO compared to putting it in cloud. So we have thousands of customers already using SimpliVity and getting great success with it. So this is a very exciting technology, brand new capabilities, but also tried and true in the marketplace. Now the next technology I'm going to talk to you about and share is HPE Synergy. Now, as mentioned, Synergy we just launched this year. We actually have hundreds of customers already adopting it, over 800 customers adopting it. And this technology, we've got a brand new video that describes this a little bit. And so you guys are actually going to be the very first people to see this video. So rather than me talk about this a lot, I'm going to let you guys see a video that explains this. So if we could roll the video.
Imagine a future where IT can accelerate application delivery, creating new value instantly and continuously. Where a single platform can deliver infrastructure for any application at the speed of cloud. Where developers can manage hardware like software. HPE is delivering that future today with Synergy. Designed from the ground up to be the world's first truly composable infrastructure. Engineered with fluid resource pools of highly secure compute, high-density scalable storage, and ultra-low latency rack-scale fabric. Every resource can be instantly configured and reconfigured according to the needs of each application. Software-defined intelligence drives HPE Synergy while increasing operational efficiency. Synergy Composer, powered by HPE OneView, accelerates operations through a single user interface. Template-driven infrastructure provisioning allows instant, reliable application deployment, reducing time spent on common data center processes. Enabling true stateless operations, Synergy Image Streamer works seamlessly with Synergy Composer to automate application deployment, creating a library of images to deploy and update infrastructure with unmatched speed and agility. managing physical compute like virtual machines. With a robust partner ecosystem, HPE Synergy supports DevOps, automation, and IT management initiatives with a single, unified API that delivers your infrastructure as code. One infrastructure, every workload. This is the future you've been waiting for. Welcome to the age of HPE Synergy.
All right, what do you guys think? Cool video? So, all right. You guys, your feedback is valuable because you're the first ones here giving this. Obviously, Synergy packs an awful lot of technology into one platform and one product, and this is something that we spend an awful lot of time developing. Now, one of the questions I get asked about Synergy is like, oh, great, well, where should I use it? And where are other customers using it? So I just want to share briefly kind of what we see. So sometimes we see customers saying, I just need a better virtual machine platform than what I have today. So I'm just going to use it for virtual machine environments. And what they find is Synergy is something that allows them to get better virtual machine environments so at a lower cost per VM and less time and effort to manage the virtual machines. We've also seen customers use Synergy for very sophisticated business applications, so things like SAP and stuff like that, and be able to find that as being a preferred platform for running those kinds of applications because, again, they can provision very rapidly, they can manage them very easily. I've also seen customers saying, we want to use it for private cloud environments and for DevOps environments. Some customers have told me, said, we're changing everything to code. We want all of our IT people to be coders, developers, so we can automate everything. And so what we really need is infrastructure as code. Well, that's exactly what Synergy is infrastructure as code. So now they see this as like the ideal platform for them to be able to move to a pure DevOps model for everything. And then, of course, private clouds. Customers are looking at this saying, I want to use this to deploy a highly containerized, as a service environment on top of this, or a private cloud using OpenStack or something like that. So I'm seeing kind of really all this range of things. And the important thing is, okay, you don't have to do all those at once, but pick something that is kind of the area that in most greatest need for you, and do that first, and you can move from there. Okay, so that's Synergy. The next thing I want to talk to you about is what we call new hybrid IT stack. And this is a project that we have. This is not a product yet, but it's a project that we have that's in development that will become a product. We first started talking about new stack in June of this year at our Discover event. And we're now moving along. We're about ready to move into beta with this. So this is still under development. So you guys are going to get to see a little bit, in front what we're actually doing with this. And so very exciting stuff. We want to hear your feedback as well, over the next day or two. But there are three things I want to just talk about this product. So it's designed for multi-cloud environments. So it's designed for managing across multiple clouds, and that includes both on-prem and off-prem clouds, private and public clouds, so all the above. And we're really focused on delivering three things. First, and you can see the words here, velocity. So this is really, just like the theme of this conference, it's about helping getting applications and infrastructure delivered at the speed of business. Whether it's developing new applications or deploying existing applications or adding new features to existing applications, all those things we're intent is to help improve that velocity. Second, productivity. By doing a lot of automation across everything, we intend to be able to improve the productivity of application developers and users, and also IT operations. And third, efficiency. So when we actually start digging into it and say, how are people using their cloud resources, public or private? And what we see is oftentimes people are not using the resources anywhere near as efficiently as they think they are. Or for that matter, which is the most efficient place to place an application or run it? And after the fact, is it really running as well as I expect it to? And so our aspiration here is to start answering those kinds of questions to help you understand how to make your business run most efficiently by understanding where the most efficient places are to place workloads. So new stack is really two main components. The first is a cloud-based service. And so this is a software as a service platform, and this is built in the cloud, so it's ready to go. So all you need to do is sign up for it and you can start using it right away. And this software as a service-based platform is just instantly available. This is where you're going to do the multi-cloud environments, the multi-cloud management. And it's got built into it a lot of different capabilities around orchestration and brokering of workloads. So basically being able to decide, where to and how to place workloads. Second thing is metering and cost analytics. So you can actually meter how much of infrastructure you're using, whether it's on-prem or off-prem. So now the on-prem is actually behaving like a public cloud is, and that you can actually meter the consumption, see what you're actually using there, and even bill it back as a result, or plug into the cost stuff that you can use for billing. Security multi-tenancy, you heard Dan talk about security quite a bit. We've obviously have a lot of security built into this, so we can secure it for all these multi-cloud environments. And then lifecycle management. So when you're actually running on-premise, we want to simplify the lifecycle management of what you're managing, of the infrastructure on-premise, so that way you're not spending as much time on the ops side of it on on-premise. Okay, so now this layer right here, as you can see, sits on top of public clouds, so things like AWS and Azure, and then it also sits on top of the private estate. And you can see in the private estate, we actually have the ability to deliver bare metal as a service, virtual machine as a service, infrastructure as a service with OpenStack, and also container as a service. So we'll be able to provide a wide variety of different deployment choices and cloud stacks, as we call them, that can run on-premise. And these cloud stacks, in turn, run on top of that software-defined infrastructure that I talked about just a few slides ago. And so with that software-defined infrastructure, very automated, that means we can now start automating the entire operations from the infrastructure all the way up to the cloud. And so when you think about that, that means by automating all this, we're going to deliver a much lower operations effort to keep things running, because so much of it is going to be fully automated. Now, we know many people already have equipment in their data center, and they say, can I use that as well? And the answer is yes. We can plug this into legacy and traditional infrastructure and still land the same cloud stacks on top, but it's going to be more manual because the legacy equipment doesn't necessarily have the same rich API that the software-defined infrastructure has, the newer stuff. So you can get both. Now, on top of all this, you see these three people at the top of this picture. We really designed this whole environment for the different kinds of people that need to be using the clouds, either in the data center or outside. First, the developers. So the developers want to be able to have direct access to cloud resources. They want to be able to write directly to the cloud stack APIs and stuff like that, and we permit them to do that. But they can set this up in different workspaces, so they can have different users or groups or projects set up with where they're going to use with their project, and then they can assign what areas they use in the private clouds or public clouds that they use for that project. Second big group is IT operations. So as I mentioned, our intention here is to automate more of this and reduce the operational effort, but IT ops still needs to be able to see exactly what's going on-prem as well as off-prem, public or private clouds, and so we give a unified interface from that standpoint. And the third thing is really from a kind of line of business standpoint, the business executives, well, how much money am I spending? Am I spending this effectively and efficiently? So we give that third interface as well. So basically we have multiple interfaces to the same information and seeing how you can access all those things. So this is a really sophisticated approach, we think, kind of very forward-thinking, but we're very excited with this, and what I'd like to do now is run a new stack demo for you guys. And so this is a demo that basically shows you for real what the product actually looks like. So if we could roll the demo, that'd be great.
Let's look at how a CIO of a global bank would benefit from NewStack. First, NewStack provides a single view across their public, private, and traditional platforms. Second, NewStack gives developers a single platform to develop applications for the public cloud and on-premises. And third, it provides insights and analytics to optimize the cost and utilization across the hybrid environment. So let's take a closer look. NewStack is the only hybrid IT platform which makes it simple to deploy on-premises clouds and bridge to services from Amazon, Azure, and Google, all from a unified experience. For our CIO, this ensures workloads run and data is stored in the optimal location, concerns which keep many CIOs awake at night. Customers have told us a private cloud that takes 3, 6, or even 9 months to deploy is unacceptable. That's why in just a few clicks, NewStack automatically deploys private clouds, and as you can see here, connecting to public clouds is as simple as providing your access key. With NewStack, IT at our bank now has the ability to offer services that span across multiple clouds and can be portable across providers for a true hybrid IT experience. IT operations gets a unique hybrid IT management as a service, enabling them to compose hybrid clouds capable of supporting both traditional and new cloud-native applications. This brings us to developers. We completed a survey of 201 enterprise developers and found over 75% of the developers have to wait a week or more to deploy applications in either a public or private cloud. Shockingly, over 25% have to wait 3 weeks or more. We've designed NewStack to be entirely self-service, enabling developers to get their applications to market faster. Hybrid workspaces you see here give developers at our bank what they'd expect, an organized set of services for each group or function, such as fraud detection or mobile deposit. What is unique about workspaces is some services are traditional workloads in VMs, such as the backend services in KVM shown here, while the front-end API server is in containers in a Kubernetes cluster. In this workspace, the front end is hosted in AWS, while the CI/CD service is running on-premises in Kubernetes, while the backend database is hosted in VMware virtual machines. With NewStack, applications can take advantage of the best that each platform has to offer. In addition to services being built by developers at the bank, they have access to open source and third-party services from the Enterprise App Store in the NewStack Marketplace. The services you see here enable the bank to get apps to market faster using components that have been validated by IT Ops for performance, compliance, and scale in every region. In a couple clicks, developers can select a service from the public cloud marketplaces, Docker Hub, Helm charts, and even private repositories from our bank's internal catalog and deploy them into the appropriate region or even across multiple regions. This is how we bring both the flexibility and choice of services across the right mix of on-premises and off-premises. Lastly, it's no secret that the keys to optimizing IT are reducing costs and increasing utilization. Let's look at the NewStack Insights dashboard and how it provides executives and managers at our bank with the most critical cost and utilization information across clouds and deployed services. Only NewStack gives lines of business and IT operations visibility into cost and utilization across on-premises and public clouds. And we take it further, providing insights into the usage across lines of business and service consumption. The Insights dashboards provides the visibility, analytics, and controls that are missing from most hybrid IT solutions on the market today. NewStack gives businesses such as this bank and all of you a single view across your public, private, and traditional platforms. It gives developers a single platform to develop applications for public cloud and on-premises, and it provides insights and analytics to optimize cost and utilization across your hybrid environment. So that's NewStack. That's simple hybrid IT.
All right, so there you have it. So hopefully you can see we're pretty excited about this stuff. We think this is some really amazing stuff. You notice, historically, kind of people think of private clouds and public clouds as being very different things. But if you picked up on this demo, we kind of blur the distinction. It really just becomes what's the best place to put things, even if you want to spread things across everything at once. But it's not just us that's really excited about this. When we share this vision with customers, they get very excited as well. We hear kind of what their challenges are, and then when they see NewStack and what we can do with it, they get very excited about it as well. One of these customers is a customer that's located not too far from here, DreamWorks, and when they saw what we're doing with this, they said, wow, this is going to really help us rethink and transform the way that we make movies, because making movies for them is very digital because they got all this rendering, they got multiple projects going on at once. And so now they can allow them to digitally transform how they make movies also. So new project stack, this is again, it's a project that's in place right now, but we're going to get this to market starting in beta very soon. We're very excited about this stuff for all these reasons that I've been talking about so far. We'll hope you guys go and check it out and learn more about that. And with that, I'd like to really wrap this session up by encouraging you to kind of go explore a little more. We've got all kinds of stuff. You saw Dan out on the show floor. And we've got some great breakout sessions on Synergy and SimpliVity. And then go check out the NewStack stuff, as I said. So you saw the CAN demo there. Go see what it really is. So learn more about it for real. Go ask some great questions about what it can and can't do for you. And then check out the showcase floor and just see all the great things we have there. We got a ton of great stuff here. Thank you guys for your time, and enjoy the show. Hope to see you around.